First day, first log of the production of an unnamed creature collector that I am making for a first dev diary. Wanna every milestone maybe just show you my progress here. I think that's just a common courtesy. Let me show off what I have here as the very start. I wanted to start learning Godot script. I only had like 3 hours on Godot, and I like followed a single tutorial exactly on how to make some walking mechanic, and then didn't mess with it from there. Now I have about 22 hours that this project, in its current state, took about 19 hours of just having Godot open, although a lot of it was just watching shows on the side, of course. But maybe a good 11 hours of actual work into this from having no Godot knowledge. I've graduated with, you know, a good 3 years of programming experience in general under my belt, learning Swift, Java, SQL, Python. I've never learned any C languages, but I messed with Roblox Studio once, so I guess I'll put Lua in there somewhere. This is my first attempt at what is supposed to be well, as it is tersely titled in the top, walking test. I wanted to first try and make just a walking system where a character, you could control them to walk around and they would move. I followed a tutorial on how to make it. I followed a tutorial on how to do it. They did obviously have the mechanics for walking around using linear interpolation to, instead of just snapping from one position to another, slowly rotate. I just kind of threw around some blocks to see how it would work going up angles. Also test the gravity. I didn't add jumping because I don't think the game will even need jumping. But that was the first part, just following a YouTube tutorial exactly. What I had to figure out on my own was I had to reverse engineer how adding a skin with animations worked. Because the video I saw in particular, just kind of said, guys, I already made all of this stuff beforehand, and most other videos just get their animations from a website. So I figured out how to import, and then import a custom model with animations in a GLB, or a GLTF file, and then eventually figured out how to hook the animations up to movement. It's not based on... I would have based it on key presses, and then I was very intelligently shown that it could be based on the like how fast the character is going. Let me briefly actually show you. The character has its own scene, with the camera, its collision shape, which is a sideways pill because I hate Godot and its hitboxes. This is the skin for it. I don't know why it's doing all that. I have two animations. I have this idle that I created. It's not, none of it's great. This model I made just to be editor, throw up a picture of the concept art for the character on the screen. This is a mock-up. Here we are. I didn't loop it originally. I had to do some weird thing. Yeah, it was a GLB file going to advanced. I had to come here and I had to turn on the loop mode and then re-import. I learned that. I don't even know where I learned half my stuff, but I've written down a long Google Docs of all my notes. I followed some guide on how to do a dog walking animation cycle, and then I've just added stuff. I got the walking done, and then I realized most of the game is actually going to be a swimming game. You're going to have omnidirectional movement, and you're going to be in the water most of the time. There were going to be some land sections, so I figured why not try my hand at making a way to change from walking to swimming, and especially just creating a swimming at all. So I have this water level with it's just an area 3D that detects if you're inside of it, which sets the swimming to true. Swimming in the code will either trigger one long line of an if statement or the other long line of an if statement as an else statement. This is for animation, and it's bad. it's sketty code. Most of it is also stolen from that one YouTube video. You gotta learn somewhere, and this is definitely not even the project I will be making the final thing on. I'll probably move on to another thing entirely, to maybe make UI elements next, or I do want to start working soon on a way where you can draw in-game, or you can like draw on a canvas using your mouse, and then it will add that texture as a texture to the model, which will be part of the intro for the game that I have planned out. This is for the camera rotation, UNC. It's all under physics process delta, which I've come to understand just fires every frame. God, it was frustrating to deal with goddamn animation tree. Holy shit, I'm not gonna get into it. But let me simply show you how the swimming works. You can't make of it what it is from code. So far I walk and it has normal gravity, and then I enter here and it becomes the swimming state. Now I'm not colliding with anything. Walking back and forth just goes back and forth, or right to left according to the camera. I'm pressing A and D to do this. I can still move the camera around. What's most important is pressing down actually does, like if I look at this angle and I press S, I did go down, if you could see it, believe it or not. There's not a zoom in, so this might be a little annoying. I should just make it a transparent volumetric fog cube, because it's water. Most importantly, swimming has the character move where the camera is facing. If I press W, the character will move in the direction that the camera is facing. It will linear interpolate. Back to sideways, all that. I haven't made a swimming animation yet. I guess just to tie up loose ends, I'll maybe try and do that, but I don't think there's going to be exactly a complicated process of making one extra animation happen, especially when it's an if-else for a swimming state, instead of just changing how the movement works. Also, I made it work diagonally, so you can move at a diagonal angle. I press, I'll say W and A here, goes at a diagonal angle, and it even moves according to where the camera is, as opposed to just an A, which will go in the direction of movement no matter. This one, I wonder if there's a wall I can put myself up against. Yeah, it moves according to the angle, if you can see that. On exit, whenever I exit the area 3D, I will simply go back into the walking state, just like that. And whenever I enter this, whenever the hitbox collides with the water, it will put me in the swimming state. There are obviously fixes that need to be done with that. I wonder if this is still weird. Simple little walking test. I've come to learn Godot after 19 hours of at least having the engine open. Signing out the first little dev diary here.